Welcome back to the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show, coming to you live from the Salisbury Center Studios in Manassas, Virginia. And we are fueled by Monster Energy. I'm Kev.
Yeah, we're fueled on a Saturday night, and we got another great band in the studio instantly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
and we're here,
night.
as we mentioned earlier, we're here for the Glam Slam Metal Tour featuring Enough's Enough, the Quireboys, and Bad Marriage. And we're happy to introduce Paul and Guy from the Quireboys.
Yes.
Hello.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah. I was going to say, Guy, I was going to say, if we can grab that mic, I was going to say, get a little scooch in a little closer to that mic, then there we want to make sure we catch all your words.
Hello.
There we
Sounding
go.
beautiful. Sounding beautiful.
Welcome to Manassas, Virginia, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Yeah. How is it here? How's it feel for you guys?
We've only been here. We've only been here an hour.
Yeah.
So you guys have been on this tour. It's relatively early in this stint, correct?
We're a week into the tour now. I think this is show number 6 tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, we did New Jersey last night, Dingbacks, which was
23
terrific.
shows, I think.
Yeah, there's 23 shows in total.
Chip was talking about that Dingbat show. So
Yeah.
it sounded like that was a good night. Like you had a good Friday night.
Yeah, it's proper old rock and roll.
Yeah?
Yeah, the sweat was running
Dive
down
in the
walls.
best possible sense, like
Yeah.
a dive bar, you know, like
Nice.
really cool, you know, place you want to go see bands.
Right.
Very small, hot, sweaty.
Right.
But
Summer,
great,
summer crowd.
great sound in there, great crowd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Excellent.
Very
Yeah.
good.
And so the band, you guys have been around for quite some time. I believe you formed in '84. There's been members in and out of the band. I think you started out as the London Quireboys. At least I remember
Yeah.
as the
Over here,
London
yeah,
Quireboys.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Remember you guys then?
Back when we were in college,
Yeah.
I worked college radio, and that album had just come out with 7
Yeah.
O'Clock,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
saw
Yeah.
that on MTV.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the band, the history, and
Well, I've been in the band since late '88. Went out to Los Angeles in '89. We made that album, Bit of What You Fancy, and we carried on for a couple more, 2 or 3 more years. Another album, second album, didn't do quite as well as the first album, and then this thing called Grunge came along, and and then the band sort of took a break for 8 or 9 years, and then we got back together in 2001, I believe, and we've been going ever since.
Yeah. We like Kevin and I were talking about that. We're talking about that actually with Chip from Enough's Enough. Like with this particular pairing, like the timing of when you're initially formed, when you're putting out your first music.
Yeah.
You mentioned the grunge kind of piece. You're, to me, a little bit like Enough's Enough in the sense that you don't necessarily fall, to me, in what was stereotyped as glam metal at the time, yet then you kind of suffered a glam metal death, which was really kind of odd.
I was actually talking about exactly the same thing. We were talking in an interview we did a few days ago, and the interviewer said the same thing. He said, even though we're different musically, we're sort of like outliers on the periphery of this,
right?
But you get pulled into that whole thing,
right?
Which is fine, but we were, very different from a lot of that,
Absolutely.
Yes,
even though I liked a lot of it, but it was like, we were different.
If you A/B that album, any of those, rock bands at the time, I mean, it's completely different.
Yes.
Down to the guitar sounds, down to the, the lyrical content, everything.
Right.
But obviously, at the time, I mean, you had to be pigeonholed.
Yes.
You had to be.
Right.
The journalists, that's what they would do.
Right.
So.
Or MTV, or
They didn't want to be confused.
the record companies.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I felt that way listening to your music, even back then.
Yeah.
Like, this is not the same thing. This is really kind of surprising, to kind of be pushed in that direction.
It kind of puts in good stead, as far, and also Enough's Enough, because the music stands up and it hasn't, I don't know, hasn't dated too badly.
No.
Apart from maybe production things, that
Reverb.
of the time, the big bang drums, and all that, and snare.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys have persevered. I mean, you've hung through all of that, right? There's obviously been a tremendous amount of change in music over the last 20 years. So how you been able to do that? Like, really just kind of keep pushing and keep driving and keep that all together and there,
Well, I think there's various reasons. I mean, not want to be cliche, but rock and roll has lasted a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's go back to the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still popular today.
Sure.
So, the genre that we're in,
Mm-hmm.
you would say, people still love. It's
Sure.
not, it's not a fad.
Sure.
It's a way of life. It's
Sure.
it's part of people.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen it firsthand with parents bringing their kids to shows.
Sure.
And I mean, a friend of mine, she told me the day she'd brought her daughter 14 years ago to Newcastle City Hall, and she's a young woman now.
Yeah.
Still loves the band, comes to see us.
Yeah.
So it's a generational thing.
Sure.
But I still listen to Elvis and Little Richard.
Right.
Religiously.
Right. Yeah.
So you mentioned you took a break there while the grunge was kind of going. I mean, did you just completely walk away from music, or did you keep gigging? And
No, I mean, personally, I was living in Los Angeles. I lasted about a year until the credit cards ran out. And then the harsh
ran up.
then the harsh reality set in. So I went and got various jobs and stuff. But I was always doing bands.
Sure.
And eventually in I guess 1999 or 98 or 99, I had a band called Glimmer, and we got signed to Atlantic Records. And managed by Larry Mazer, who managed Kiss and Cinderella and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we toured with people like Cheap Trick and The Union.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the same thing. That the record didn't get the chance it should have had,
Sure.
and then that sort of fell apart. And then the Quireboys thing came back into, there was an offer to do something, so we sort of put something together,
Yeah. What do you guys? What do you feel is influencing you now in terms of musical influences? Where you're drawing your original music from?
I think the same place as it always.
Big melting pot of different styles,
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, again, there's a perception of that the rock and roll side of it. I mean, that if you listen to the last 10 albums we've made,
Right.
there's quite a variation in there.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And especially the country side of it as well, and obviously there's always only going to be one ballad.
Right.
I don't love you anymore, but there's a whole melting pot of stuff in there, it's always been that way.
Sure.
So. And sometimes you don't even know what's influencing you. It's just you sit down and come up with a song.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah.
what's the so far? Six dates into the tour. What's the crowd response been like in the previous shows?
Oh, it's great. I mean, as I say, me personally, last night was the best one. There was just a real great vibe about it.
People were ready on a Friday.
People were ready.
Yeah.
Ready.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are. Midweek
They've all been
can
pretty
be a
good.
bit-
They've all been good. The one we did with LA, we did the one with LA Guns.
Aurora,
yeah,
Okay.
sort of Chicago area, and that was a real good one as well.
wild.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm past you. I didn't
No,
know. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know. I was getting distracted.
Yeah, right. I know.
Yeah,
Like,
we're right in the middle
What
of a
did it
sound
dance?
check. Lads, turn it down.
I'm on the window.
is there anything new that you're listening to now that you really like? Is there any kind of newer acts that have come out maybe in the past 3 to 5 years? That
Yeah, I mean, on the rock side, I guess. I mean, I like Rival Sons,
Yeah.
and
I just caught them 2 to 3 weeks ago.
yeah, he's a very good singer.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
everybody in that band is just fantastic.
Oh, they're all good, but
yeah.
there's the sing. I
course.
really like his voice,
Yeah.
and I mean, we just played a festival in France, and we met a band called Dirty Honey, sort of really nice guys,
This guy is like a massive Dirty Honey guy.
right.
He is. Yes. And I mean, it's not like I'm not.
Yeah, we've seen him a couple
Yeah.
times. Just totally in love with the whole band, the
Yeah.
sound, the energy. It's very similar to your all style of music and
Yeah.
Aerosmith, and it's just good rock
It
and
was
roll.
funny because I got chatting to him, but then I got chatting to their tour manager, and it turned out he was a roommate with a friend of mine that I hadn't seen for years in LA. You know, we all knew the same people. You know, and I asked the guys from Dirty Honey to do a radio ID, because my girlfriend has a radio show in the UK called the Rock Shop, and she played it on Friday night, but she hadn't listened to she hadn't edited it. So he sort of, I don't know if I can swear, but he's
Oh, you got
it.
Yeah,
You're
he goes,
right.
oh fuck, I forgot, you know, and it went out live on air. You know, she's like, I'm very sorry about that.
The best band I've seen recently, I've got an old friend of mine. There's a guy called James Walburn, and he's the guitarist in the Pretenders.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And he was playing a venue very close to where I live.
Okay.
His band's called His Lordship. And check them out. That's
Yeah.
what it just blew me to pieces.
That is a new name for me.
It's not rock.
Okay, yeah.
But it's certainly got something.
And he's still playing with the Pretenders.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I think they're opening up for Guns N'
Yeah,
Roses.
we're going to be catching them in a couple of weeks.
with Guns N' Roses. Yeah.
Well, he's some guitar player, I tell you.
It's like hitting me as I'm talking to you all.
Yeah.
You were because we've been really in this podcast environment for the past 6-7 months. You were our first Englishman, like sitting here talking to us.
I
You know,
see.
so yeah. So I get to I get to ask this question: is there a difference between touring here than over in England
Yes.
or
Yeah,
elsewhere?
distances.
Yes.
What
You
are
have to
those?
drive 10 hours every day to get to work. In England, it's generally 3.
Okay. That would. Yeah. And I'm sure
Yeah.
you feel that. Like that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's usually the first week. The first week of a tour, you know, when you're doing a month-long tour, this amount of dates, the first week sound.
Yeah.
It feels like a month.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then after that, you sort of you get into more of a rhythm, and you don't feel so, so tired.
And you mentioned the heat too.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't know. Like I've never been to England in the summer. I
We're
need to
both
go.
half Irish, so
Okay.
it's sort of,
It's the rain.
I don't get too close to the light bulb. But
Yeah.
So,
what about the crowds though? Are the crowds any different?
well, everywhere's different. Even in America, state to state. But globally, people are enthusiastic, and it's just a different type of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard. I can't really describe it, but as long as they're enthusiastic, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I've never been to a European show, so like I've never noticed the difference myself. I tried. So I was in Dublin.
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago, and I had tickets for Royal Blood.
Okay.
And then that singer came down with COVID.
Right.
And so they had to just simply cancel the show. I was only there for a week and a half. I had the time that I had, and then nothing else was really kind of coming through. So I didn't really get to witness that. That's why I'm grilling you guys, because I'm just kind of curious.
Another thing in America, obviously we're more accessible in England, Europe. You know, people get more of a chance to see us.
Okay.
So I feel there's a little more excitement sometimes because we're not here all the time.
Gotcha.
You know, possibly once a year.
Yeah.
Or longer.
Yeah.
So that there's an anticipation that people are really a bit more revved up because we've come across the pond to be here.
Yeah. So and do you enjoy touring? Can I ask you this, the loaded question? You know, more in the United States. So it's, I guess, a would you rather question. We sometimes do a would you rather.
It's more of an adventure coming to, you know. So it's you know, however many times we've toured around the UK, you know, there's nothing really new, if you know what I mean. You know, you've been to you know, sometimes you'll go to a new town you never played before, and that's really, you know, makes it more interesting. Of course, the show's the show. It could be anywhere, and you know, you get the energy off the crowd and wherever you are. But touring around America is,
It's
you know,
still a thrill.
Yeah, it's like you're in a movie. To us, it's like being in a movie or something. You know, there were some of these bars, you know, these clubs you play, and it's like or just being in New York, or places like that. It's more like an adventure, I'd say. So
you never tire of going across the Brooklyn Bridge or seeing the statue. Because we grew up obviously watching American movies, Kojak. I remember the first time I went to New York.
Who loves you,
I was
baby?
going to burst into tears. I was so over the moon that it was exactly as I'd seen it in black and white in the 60s. You know what I mean? I don't know. And it was everything, even the steam coming up. So, and if we haven't lost that, that thrill of being here.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Did you find song inspiration then there? Like, is that? Okay.
There's always something.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I mean, even just things you see on the wall in a bar, or a signpost or something that you wouldn't. And you go, oh, that sounds cool. Write that down.
Yeah. Right. Because in England, if you go into a bar that's like an American theme, it's a real treat. Because like a pub's a pub.
Right.
And most of them are bistros now or something. The English pub is a dying thing.
Right.
But you just here and there. There's a place called the Waterloo in Blackpool in England, and it's got a real. They've made an effort with all the drum-free and stuff on the wall and all that. There's a real American feel to it. And, people like us who obviously dreamed about coming and playing America a long time ago. It's a buzz. So being here. Every day, it's like woohoo.
Well, and festivals, it seems like over in Europe, the festivals are just much larger, a lot more bands, where here in the States, they're kind of all spread out. So you could almost go and catch 2 or 3 festivals in a relatively short period of time in Europe.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's during festival season, as they call it, it's, we get to do quite a few. We didn't do quite as many this year, but we did Hellfest, which is just this fantastic festival.
Amazing.
And it's like 60,000 people, and we were on the main stage with Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Alter Bridge, Skid Row, and that was a great experience. It's a whole different thing to play in playing a club, or they're great in their own ways, but it's a very different thing.
Right.
Yeah, you're by the seat of your pants with the sound and everything, praying that you're going to get what you ask for, or you're just some lone soldier, you can't hear the bass.
We were having that conversation while the band, you guys were setting up, sound checking. A lot of times, I assume a festival, you're just going to roll in, plug in your stuff, and play.
Everything's on a rolling thing, and the other band stuff's going off that way, and yours is coming on this way.
Yeah, there's 2 stages. Hellfest is two massive stages, and whilst you're setting your stuff up, there's all the audience have moved over.
Right.
Sure.
To that stage, and so you can get, you can do all your stuff, get it all how you want it, and then it's like, right, you're on.
But these crews are just, it's like Formula One racing. Pit crew.
Right.
You don't need to worry.
Well-oiled machine.
They know what they're doing, and it's just it's a calming thing, because you're stood there, there's a clock counting down 30 seconds, and that's not plugged in, that microphone's not on yet, and there's 60,000 people standing there, and they're thinking, and then bang, off you go. And
no pressure.
But they've never let us down.
Yeah. So for your upcoming, say, like in the next year or two, anything that we can look forward to in terms of?
We're almost finished a new album, which is called The Band Rolls On, or it will be called The Band Rolls On. And
love it. It's appropriate.
On July the 14th, we're releasing a new single pre the release of the album. The album will probably come out in September, October, hopefully, something like that. And it's a song called Medicine, which we've done with Josh and Stevie from Buckcherry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
anytime they come to town, I have to like watch my girlfriend. I nearly lose her. She is such a Josh Todd girl.
yeah, he's got it all going on.
Right, I know.
Every girl is.
Right. And you know the song, when Crazy Bitch comes on, like she dives right into it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what
guys.
that says. But.
They're good guys, and that
So she's gonna love that news.
And we're really happy with the song. It's a good summer song, if you know what I mean.
Okay, cool. Of course, It's a party band, right?
Yeah.
There's a video to accompany it. I think the video is fantastic.
Okay, yeah.
So that's coming out, and then obviously we're working on the album. We've got a few guests on the album, which we've always kind of wanted to do, and now we're able to do. We've got one of the next songs we'll release will be called Autumn Rains, and it's got Charlie from Blackberry Smoke on it.
Yeah, we've got Dan Reed.
We've done one with Dan Reed from Dan Reed Network, and
Joe Elliott's going to do one.
Yeah,
Cool.
And we're hoping Angry Anderson from Rose Tattoo is going to be doing a song with us as well.
Yeah.
If he wants to do it, it's just it's trying to
Align the stars.
align the stars.
Right.
It was like this great idea we had, and then it was like, this is getting a bit complicated. Getting everyone, everyone's willing to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got just sent some stuff over to Scotty Hill from Skid Row. He's going to put a guitar solo on a slide guitar solo on a song that Paul's written.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of support from other bands out there for us,
And Chip's playing bass on the album.
And Chip's playing bass on the whole album.
Yeah.
So
He's playing on it's fantastic.
Yeah. Because he can't get enough work.
Well,
he's a busy man.
Apparently, they're going to put more hours in the day just to accommodate him.
He needs a few more hours added.
Right. I tell you, that was not a little to look forward to. That's a lot to look forward to. You guys, you're networked out.
So I'm curious, because obviously, the times have changed a little bit. Technology has certainly gotten better, but you mentioned a video is going to accompany the single.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously MTV is not what MTV was.
No.
So are you just releasing it like on your website?
Yeah, it'll be on
YouTube.
YouTube and
Facebook.
all the usual stuff.
All the platforms.
Right.
And and it's sort of like our Facebook page. We know how many people subscribe. I know how many are on mine, etc. You know where it's going to get to.
Right.
Sure.
And that's the best you can.
It's not like in the old days where enough's enough. Quireboys, bands like you spend like $500,000 or something on a video, and then it was just hoping it might get played on MTV.
Right.
You still spent all that money out. Now at least you make a video. Okay, no one's making huge budget videos anymore, but you make a video, it's on YouTube, and people are going to see it. However many it is, but you definitely know people will see it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And the thing is, as well, it's sort of like nowadays, it's such a limited amount of forget the internet TV shows that would actually even consider playing a band like us or Enough's Enough on their show. It's just it doesn't happen.
Right.
So they've got this whole outlet to be seen. Heard.
Right. And then kind of getting back to what we were first starting talking about, where you kind of get a label that might be fair, might be unfair, based on just a simple appearance or timing, or whoever decides to make that type of classification that sticks with you. And then, like I said, I just think of your music, even way back in your catalog, it doesn't match. I feel like some of the
pleased you said that.
The direction that kind of was pushed towards you. Yeah.
And the interesting thing going off what you're saying is, there's a huge, let's say, heavy metal festival in Europe called Wacken.
Yes. Yep.
And I mean, it's heavy, isn't it?
Sure.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Every year.
I got to get there.
It's really heavy.
We play it. And I was for years baffled why they would have us on between. So there'd be a band before us.
Yeah.
Then we'd come on, and we'd always go down a storm.
Right.
And then after us would be another.
I think we're a bit of light relief.
Yeah.
It's like a break. Take a break, lads.
Yeah.
We did the Wacken cruise, and the guy who's Mr. Wacken was actually on the ship, and he came down to the dressing room to say hello. So it was all nice, and I said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "They're all heavy bands, and us." I says,
Yeah.
"Why do you book us?" He goes, "You're my favourite band. It's the only chance I get to see."
Awesome. That's awesome.
But it's great for us because it's people aren't going,
Right.
"What's this?" It's like,
Right.
you know,
Well, and I think that's a testament to your music.
yes,
You guys,
music.
it's
Right.
great rock music, and whether you like Metallica, Megadeth,
Yeah.
Poison,
Right.
when you go to these festivals, you get a little bit of everything. So
That's right.
We
Or-
can sort of tailor. Sorry, we can sort of tailor our set to different festivals. Like if we're doing a, Wacken or something, we'll just play more of the rockers,
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we've played Americana festivals, or we've even played a folk festival,
Yeah.
acoustic,
Right.
because we do acoustic stuff as well. So
Yeah.
Right.
you just tailor it to, whatever the audience is. But when, like Wacken, for example, I've always thought someone likes Metallica,
Uh-huh.
they probably like AC/DC.
Yes.
If they like AC/DC, then they should probably like us.
Yes.
Because,
Absolutely.
Yes.
We have elements of that type of thing, and obviously, and then if they like AC/DC, they probably like the Stones.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Quireboys,
lineage.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a thread through it all.
And
I
we're-
like all those bands.
I was about to say we're all fans.
Yes.
We're all fans of that. And so like I think you just described my fan experience to a T. So yeah. And I think it's a nice thing too about the media, right? Because we're talking about your video release and not being, dependent on some
Yeah.
type of, MTV or another type of TV channel classification of how they're going to label your music and where they may
Exactly.
put that video.
Yeah.
You can just have the exposure to do it whenever
Yeah,
you
you
want.
just put it out.
Yeah.
And plus, with the big Facebook and Instagram, all of that, people have chosen to follow you.
Right. Right.
You're not trying to pull them in; they're already there.
Right.
So as Guy said, you're guaranteed. Whether it's 10, 20,000 people
Yeah.
will see it
Yeah.
and maybe watch it more than once.
Sure.
Separate, you see. So, job done.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Good stuff.
great stuff. And for those that are hopefully catching this live,
No.
get in your cars,
Yep.
get down here to the Salisbury Center. It's
Yep.
going to be a great show tonight.
Doors are opening. Doors
Yep.
are starting to open.
And so we want to thank you both for giving
Two
us
bands.
some time.
Or
It's
three
great.
bands that defy classification.
Yep, three
I think
bands.
it's been the theme of all of our conversation tonight.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So thanks for stopping
name for a
by.
song.
We're looking forward to the show tonight. And we're going to take a quick break on Stand Up and Shout Rock Show.